To senators and other members online, please activate your video and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. If it is possible, use the raise hand feature when you would like to be recognized to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote. As chair, I will do my best to call our committee members in the order which hands are raised. Lowering your hand will take you out of the queue. Advisor Cole, can you pull up the minutes? So is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussions?
Remember, you have to state who made the motion, who seconded it.
Okay.
So motion made by
Made by
Salifu,
and
PP,
Hashmi.
second by.
Okay, motion approved. Let's move to agenda.
oh, yeah, hold on. Any discussion, and then we have to allow for everybody to vote, so that's where you're gonna say, vote of approval through unanimous consent.
Okay. Is there any objections to recording unanimous vote in favor of the motion?
One, right now passes.
No, okay. The motion passed unanimously. Move to agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
First by Lindo, second by Jose. Is there any objection to record a unanimous vote in favor of the motion? No,
Go ahead.
agenda passed. Okay, we move to public comments.
Yep, so I got it. So first up is Dr. Kit Carlson. They are the director of the STEM Center and the botany instructor here at Madison College. Obtained their PhD in plant ecology from the University of Missouri and completed their postdoctoral work at Virginia Tech. Also a previous professor of biology at the University of Wisconsin-Stout, the director of the Sustainability Science Institute. Her research professional interests emphasize access to STEM education and careers. So, Carlson, Nicholas, 20 minutes has been provided. I will share now in call. And the time is yours.
Hi, thank you so much for the invitation. I was very excited to receive your emails. Thank you. First of all, welcome to STEM at Madison College, right? Probably some of you are STEM. I recognize some of you. So go ahead, you can move on. I am our STEM Center Director. I became our STEM Center Director about 2 years ago. And if you recall, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we were just coming out of the pandemic. And we were really, the STEM Center was really in a state of, I would say, overhaul. There was kind of some activities happening. There were some activities that got lost due to the pandemic. And when I came in, I sat down and I really became thoughtful about what is the foundation of the STEM Center? What does the STEM Center need to look like? And I thought it should really be built off these 4 pillars. First, equity and inclusion. Everything we do should be based on this, foundation of equity and inclusion. And to achieve that, we have training for our STEM Center staff. We partner with our DEI offices, Campus Culture and Climate, Institute for Equity and Transformational Change. We are working on developing a partnership with IETC to have what we call faculty equity allies. This is a work in progress. It's actually related to a grant I just received. We connect with the STEM community, or we build STEM community by having students that are STEM ambassadors. Some of you might know some of our STEM ambassadors. We have faculty mentors. We have a space to study, socialize, have club meetings, etc. We are building strategic collaborations, and I'll talk more about those later on. And we are really striving towards innovation and excellence. One example of innovation and excellence, last year, one of our STEM club subcommittees was our promoting electric propulsion team. They built their own electric boat, and they competed with other campuses across the nation. They came in 2nd place. They beat Princeton. Wow. So I know, I'm really, really proud of that. And so that's just some of the things that we do and are the foundation of our work. But you can go ahead and move on to the next one. But when I show that to students, I think it's just like, what does that actually mean? What does that translate for me? And so what that I think translates directly to the students is in the STEM Center, we have peer and faculty mentors. The mentorship is something we're really working on. In fact, at this moment, we're working on creating a faculty mentor database that will be searchable for students. So if you're looking for a mentor, a research mentor, or just a mentor for another capacity, that's something that we want to have available for you very soon. We have workshops, events, and study groups. So you probably know if you've been to the STEM Center, you know, we have 3D printers, we have laser cutters, we are creating a life science lab. So what is a conference room right now? Next semester will be our new life science space. So if you're a life scientist, that's a space you'll be able to work. Cutting edge technology and labs. We have research and internship opportunities that I'm very excited about. And I would say, you know, Cole, you asked me, what are ways that we can connect with student life more? This is one big way, and I'll talk more about that. Getting the word out about the research opportunities we have and the internship opportunities we have is really important to me. An example of that is last year, we had the Carbone Cancer Center here. They promoted their Arise and SCORE internships. They desperately wanted Madison College students. They said, we want you. Do you know how many people attended that workshop? 4. They had 10 internships. We had 4 people. And so I think better communication by connecting through student life could be something that benefits everybody, right? Let's get the word, oh, you were one of the interns. Yes. Sorry, I should have said that. Yes, exactly. But you can probably speak to the value of that internship and that experience for you. We also have a huge STEM club. Our STEM club right now has 220 students in it. Obviously, they don't all show up to every meeting, but it does, I think, show the big interest. It's something that we're actively working on, and we are pursuing that becoming a student org because we think there's capacity for that.
Okay.
We do fun field trips. In fact, we were just speaking with, I literally just a couple minutes ago was emailing a company called ESI in Illinois who does all kinds of different STEM work, and we are doing a field trip with them in the spring. Some of our external partners, this is some STEM students and myself on a field trip to EPIC. If you've never visited EPIC, you really need to. It's pretty cool. But we have partners. We partner with MADAM, who does, they're more K-12, and they focus on supporting girls and girls of color in STEM. We do programming with them, and they are awesome partners. We partner with Badger Line Girl Scouts. Just this past weekend, we had a Coding Divas camp for middle school girls to learn how to code here on campus. We partner with Strang, who supports Boys and Girls Club and Big Sisters. Wisconsin Institute of Discovery. We do a national research initiative with them. So we do something where we're looking for new sources of antibiotics that is in partnership with WIDS, Wisconsin Institute of Discovery. And then many of these other businesses, I won't worry with the details, but those are organizations that support us. They write letters of support for us. They provide our students with internships and research experiences. So we have a pretty big network. We have a lot of different research activities happening, and this is another way that I think we can connect better with student life. One thing that I need to hear is what students need and want. So the research that we're doing now, I like to promote this work because this is all at a national or international scale. And I think this will be really excellent for undergraduate students because all of these research networks, they create this web of network for you. So if you start doing this CPHAGES work, CPHAGES is a project with the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, HHMI. It's a massive, like hugely well-funded program. And CPHAGES has been around for 30 plus years. They are using bacteriophage. Bacteriophage are viruses that can be antibacterial. So they are a whole new mode of action. So we can find sources of antibiotics that we don't have a bacterial resistance to. So it's a huge big deal. Your own classmates have discovered phage that no one else has discovered before. They have phages that they have named. They have publications with their names on it. So this is work that you could do as well. I don't have a lot of time, so I won't get into all of it, but you can just see all of these are national or international experiences. You can get involved by participating in our clubs. This is my PEP team, but I'm sorry, I'm obnoxiously proud of them because they, like, I have to say, the only support that we provided to this team, we provided them like administrative support, logistics, but they were the brains. They figured it all out. I'm a botanist. I do not know how to make an electric boat. So, but I just love that they we provided them the space, the resources, and they figured it out. So if you like doing that kind of stuff, we can do that in the STEM Center. I think a big area, and I think I've hit on this earlier, is getting more students involved in undergraduate research. So we have a model right now where we support part-time faculty as research mentors for undergraduate students. And that has been quite successful. I'm working on some federal funding right now to scale that. Really like working with part-time faculty because they have the capacity, they have the time in their schedules, and they may have the career interest to continue doing research. So it's kind of a good fit. It's a win-win. We pay both the faculty and we pay the students, and so it's mutually beneficial in that way as well. We have all kinds of STEM events. In fact, right now in the STEM Center, we are hosting a scary movie and games night separate day. So if you want to go watch a scary movie after this, I don't even know what the movie is, so don't look into that. And what I'm very proud of is our first, we just received a $1 million NSF STEM grant. This will provide full ride scholarships for at least 25 students. And we will start rolling those out in spring. The application will be open in spring of 25, and the first cohort will start in the fall of 25. Those scholarships will be for new cohorts of students. And so we call those recruitment scholarships. We also have retention scholarships, and those scholarships will be for students that are close to finishing, like within 15 to 20 credits of finishing. And we will support the retention scholars for up to 3 semesters. You can connect with us in the STEM Center. We're kind of like off there in the Ingenuity wing, so a lot of people don't intentionally walk past us, but we're really starting. I started offering free coffee, and the world's exploded for us. So that was the key right there. We offer free coffee. We're in the STEM Center. Actually, our hours are extended now. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we're open till 7. And I have noticed, this is actually additional student feedback I would love to hear. What I've noticed is we have a lot more activity in the STEM Center, like 2 p.m. and later. So the morning hours are pretty dead. But then after 2 o'clock, people are like, hey, I'm done with my classes. I want to come here and connect with my peers. And so that's what we're trying to accommodate. You can find us on social media, etc. So why visit us? I think who you surround yourself with and that network you build, that is your future. I mean, I think that's really clear. And I can tell you that after 21 years of being a professor and teaching and being around students, some of the finest students I've ever met in my career are in the STEM Center. So if you want to kind of have that experience and share that with your colleagues, the STEM Center is a great place to. We have great partnerships. We partner not only externally, but internally. That's something that we're all about. We really try to collaborate and build on the good work that's already happening across our institution, which is another reason we want to connect better with student life. You are the voice for the students, and we want to meet students where their needs are. And I think these are just some events that we host. We always host a research day. This spring, this is something students could get involved with. We're having a STEM, the art of STEM. We were invited to host a gallery show in the gallery downstairs. So there will be a call for STEM artists, and that can look like whatever you think it might look like, right? There's all kinds of ways that there's art in STEM. It could be a beautiful engineering structure. It could be a beautiful microscopy, whatever you see art in STEM. We have the Wolfpack Scholar Invitational that relates to that STEM grant that I was talking about earlier. We work with Career Employment Services on Equal Pay Month, and just all kinds of other workshops, events, etc. Let's see, all kinds of student activities. I think I kind of talked about those, so we can move on. And I do want to talk a little bit about this because this relates to some our aspirational work. As I mentioned, we have this STEM funded. We just submitted another federal grant that would create more career opportunities and more connection to biotech. I'm working on another federal grant that's due in December that I'm really excited about, and it would allow us to grow that research mentor model I was talking about that I think students would. I have a lot of students coming and asking me about undergraduate research, and so this is another area that I think student life might be interested in. We are partnering with the IETC. They have a new model that is developing around undergraduate research assistance. And so in that model, the undergraduate research assistants actually support faculty researchers. They might do things like lit reviews or transcribe, interviews, that type of thing. So we're partnering with them with our model of part-time faculty serving as faculty research mentors. And, excuse me, we're connecting that to course-based research experiences. What we're trying to do is create kind of a platform for students so they can see how they can get involved in these activities and sort of create some research experience pathways for yourselves. And that's really what that grant will do. It will help us create a centralized hub, a digital platform with these enhanced experiences for students. And I'm really excited about this one because I actually submitted it last year and they said, here's why this sucks. That's what reviewers do. And here's how to make it better. We recommend you resubmit. And so that's good news when the program officer suggests you resubmit. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get it, but they wouldn't tell you to resubmit if they didn't think there was a shot at it. So I'm hopeful for that. Either way, we still have those experiences happening. What this grant would allow us to do is just scale them up to reach more students. And I might do another STEM. I'm getting a little burnt out, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see about that for spring. That is kind of more specific to, you can skip that. Oh, and that's just us. That's the end. That's us at the what was that day?
Solar eclipse.
Thank you. My brain
I
stopped.
remember that.
Yeah, it was a fun day. And I put that picture in this because that's kind of, we're nerdy, but we're fun and it's to be. We have a good time all the time. So I'm sorry, I went really fast. I didn't know how fast 20 minutes would be, but any questions or any suggestions, any ideas for us?
Okay, so I'm part of the biotechnology program,
Oh, cool.
and I know that is not officially part of the STEM program.
It is.
I know that I think last spring, I have someone who gave me like the flowers for the Carbon Center internship. It was kind of like late, but I tried to apply, but I didn't get. They didn't like hire me, but I mean,
Okay.
it was fine. But I feel like it would be like nice in the future to probably share some of this kind of like internship program with the biotech students, because I think that is something that is also kind of like doing, and that can also be like a good opportunity for us too.
I love that feedback. 2 people from biotech actually, well, one works and one visits. Patrick Mansell, he is one of our STEM ambassadors and he's in biotech. That's new this year. And Ami, and I don't know her last name, but biotech is small, so I'm assuming you might know who I'm talking
Yes.
about. So we have more interaction with biotech happening now. We just wrote a federal grant with biotech and that comment has come up. I work pretty closely with Owana and Mary Ellen. And so this is happening. I will also let you know that December 3rd, we will have the Carbone Cancer Center back. And I will make sure that you receive an invite. We would love to have that application come in. And Sophia Refetoff, who is the leader of that, she's an amazing person just to know. So
Thank you.
I really appreciate that feedback. And you are right, biotech is STEM. And we are working to kind of improve, part of it is just like we're here and you're there.
Exactly, yeah.
But you have such amazing facilities that jealously I want to connect with you as well. So
Thank you.
very good question.
All right, so we have, we'll go Senator Dirks next, then we have online with Senator Jupe and then VP Hopkins. So Senator Dirks.
Hello,
Hi.
Dr. Kitt. So this summer I was at Eau Claire for a NSF sponsored research initiative for high performance computing.
Awesome.
And how I found out about it was my computer science instructor emailed the whole class just
Nice.
letting us know. So relating to that, so how are partnerships with the four-year universities sort of playing out right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Our strongest partnerships obviously are with UW-Madison because of the proximity.
Yeah,
We do have some partnerships through, remember I showed you those national networks?
yeah,
The one that's with Wisconsin Institute of Discovery, that is actually across most of our four-year comprehensives. And so we meet with them and partner with them regularly for that activity. But I mean, I will say that there is opportunity there. And I haven't looked at anything outside of the life sciences for those partnerships. So that's really good feedback and something that I think you're right. There are a lot of REUs at those four-year comprehensives that we could be promoting. I think that's
Yeah.
really good feedback. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
real quick. If someone were interested in joining STEM Club, would there be some sort of application process?
You literally just go on Wolfpack Connect and say, I want to be in STEM Club, and you join up, and that's all you have to do. Yeah, and then you'll get all of our events and all that information.
Right.
Good question.
That's all I got.
Online, Senator Drew? Senator Drew, for your question.
Hi. Hi, Dr. Keith.
Hi, Maggie.
Hope you all are doing great. I just wanted to add like a feedback that even if you're not part of this STEM, you can still benefit from like coffees that I enjoy every morning. I enjoy going there for coffee, and I know someone who is not part of the STEM program that goes there to study because it's quiet and nice.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to share that. And yes, Dr. Kidd is one of my favorite teachers. So, yep.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. You're one of my favorite students. I actually am really grateful that you said that. Our hashtag is STEM for everyone, and that is our motto. We have a lot of people that aren't in STEM, and almost everybody here has to take at least one STEM class. So we're all impacted by STEM every single day. So yes, STEM Center is for everyone, and in fact, we have to be for everyone. We cannot exclude anybody, and we certainly don't want to exclude anybody. So thank you so much for the time.
Oh, more questions. VP Hoshmi.
I have two questions. Could you talk about the research mentor? Is that going to be a student or a faculty?
To be faculty, it's a great question. We'll have two levels. What we're working on is having peer mentors. So students that have gone through an experience that can support, incoming research students, and then faculty that will serve, and possibly staff that can serve as research mentors. So that's a good question.
And what are the qualifications for the NSF grant student?
So our current grant, you have to have some financial need, and we kept this very broad. We wanted this to be an inclusive, we wanted people to, we wanted a lot of people to be competitive for these scholarships. So when you do your FAFSA, so the first thing you need to do is complete your FAFSA, and we will have FAFSA workshops throughout the year. Definitely that's going to happen. And then after that, we have defined it as academically able. And I'm guaranteeing that every single person in this room, every single person at our institution is academically able. We are also going to make some decisions about, do we think you are likely to finish your program within 6 semesters? So we do that because we have to also be strategic. If we don't think that you can finish your program in 6 semesters, that hurts our chances of getting future funding. Because the more people that we have complete, the better we look to the National Science Foundation. And so we have to balance access with making sure we can still get funding. So we haven't really decided the whole rubric for that yet, but our goal is that we will fund as many people as we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Final question, Senator Villarreal.
Hello, Doctor. If I could get a very quick question, as far as your federal funding, is there any ideas or any ways that we can help you out?
Yes, that's a great question. One of the things I did for the grants that I'm putting through in December is, if you recall, this is a resubmission. So last year I sent out a survey to all students looking for my biggest question was, how are you accessing information? How are you learning about activities that are happening across campus? And also information about when are you on campus? Are you ever on campus? So the short answer to that is there's 11% of your classmates that have never been to Madison College campus. And so learning that and getting that feedback from students is one of the biggest things you can do for me, because I have my paradigm about what students need, but then there's the reality of what students need. So when you see that kind of stuff, and when you see that it's a call for that kind of, we're doing this to support, an NSF grant, fill them out, or, give us that kind of feedback, participate in events, that is all stuff that helps us keep this sort of funding going. Promote it, like you, Senator Dirks, you talked about your experience at UW Eau Claire. That helps Eau Claire, right? You just promoted Eau Claire through doing that. So that was a good question.
That is time, because so you got to go.
Yep, I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We email you if we have any.
Oh,
other
yeah,
questions.
please do. And Cole, I know you have email.
I can, I don't think there's any other way I can do it without just sending an email.
So I will provide the presentation in the SharePoint as well as, I'll provide everybody email, reaching out to Carl as well as Brian. So Brian, I'll introduce you next. So, Brian Woodhouse serves as our Vice President of Development here at Madison College Foundation. In the current role, spearheads fundraising initiatives to bolster scholarships and support the college's overall capital plan. Brian has worked throughout Madison College in various roles in leadership, and we're happy to have you here today. So, Brian Woodhouse, everybody.
Thank you. I did send you
Yep.
some slides. I should have done that a lot earlier.
You're all good. I got you.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
So, thank you. Thanks, my sincere thanks to the entire Senate for inviting me and the foundation to come over and present. We get a lot of opportunity to be in front of student groups, so this is really great for us. So thank you for that. Yes, Brian Woodhouse, the VP of Development. I just started at the foundation in January of 2024. Prior to that, I worked at Madison College for 13 years. I was associate dean in school of business and applied arts. I was the dean there for about 6 years. Then my last 5 or so years here, I was a vice president over continuing education, our regional campuses, and variety of other odds and ends, if you will. So transitioning over to the foundation and leveraging, if you will, the knowledge that I have after 13 years working here has been pretty seamless and pretty easy for me. It's been very easy to sit down with potential benefactors and current donors and talk about what's going on at Madison College. And it's been really exciting for me. So next slide, if you would. So let me just tell you a little bit about the Madison College Foundation, because I've found in my time there that a lot of people just don't know. Some people don't know that we even have a foundation at Madison College, much less much about its history or what exactly we do. So we do have a foundation, and we've had a foundation since 1973. So it was the early 1970s that actually the state of Wisconsin, the system board, if you will, approved for technical colleges to have their own foundation. So we are actually one of the very first to be established within the 16 colleges in 1973. Sole mission is to provide financial assistance primarily to students, but also to the college in terms of capital campaigns and other things that we support. But when the foundation was first started in 1973, what the college did was ask faculty, staff, anyone else that was willing to kind of create a startup fund, and did actually pretty well. But the very first funds that were in the foundation was $40,000. So doesn't sound like a lot in today's dollars, and it wasn't a lot in 1973 dollars either, but it was a start for us. Fast forward 50 years, and right now the foundation has about 28 million in assets. So about 13 and a half, close to 14 million in our endowed fund, and then 15 or so in other funds that are restricted and unrestricted. And I won't get into all of that for these purposes. So over the last 50 years, the foundation has awarded, it's actually more like 23 million now, because that's last year's number. I need to update that, but including how we finished last fiscal year, a little over $23 million to over 45,000 students that have come through Madison College. Next slide, if you would. So the mission of the foundation is to acquire private funding in support of our high quality open access education here at Madison College. Our vision, which I'm more affectionate to, if you will, is no student be denied education due to financial barriers. And it's very, very important to us. That's core of what we do, is providing assistance to students. We also have other advantages to the college, and we serve as the fiscal agent of the college, and we are an independent 501c3. So the foundation are not college employees. We only fundraise and do work for Madison College, but we are a separate entity as the IRS, in terms of the IRS restrictions.
Yeah.
We pay our own salaries, wages, fringes, all of that. We are not on the college's general fund. We raise all of our own money for that. So it's important, what fiscal agent has mentioned is that obviously part of what we do here is solicit from major organizations, foundations, things like that for different projects and programs in support of the college. Many of them will only give to a certified 501c3 nonprofit. College is not a 501c3 nonprofit, it's a public agency. So we are the arm that can be the recipient of those gifts from those organizations. So it's kind of an important designation. Next slide. So main bucket that we do is scholarships. So in the year that we just finished, the 20th of June, the 23-24 academic year, we awarded just over $2 million in scholarships to Madison College students. That's a 100% increase. If you go back 10 years, just where you see the trend lines here. So the blue line is fall scholarships and the orange or red line is spring scholarships. You go back to the 2014-15 academic year, about 1,000 scholarships for Madison College students. Last year it was 2,000, a little over 2,000. So that's a 100% increase basically in the number of scholarships we've been able to give out. Unfortunately, the need for more scholarships continues to rise at about the same pace. So it's trying to keep up with that and get ahead of it a little bit. So even though we were able to award over 2,000 scholarships last year, there were still about 200 students that applied, were eligible, that we were not able to award. So that's a big priority for us, is to close that gap, that a student that does apply and is eligible, we can give some kind of award to. Average scholarship this past, I'll give you the latest numbers from this fall semester. It was about $1,245. So that's pretty good. That's, you know, pretty good amount given Madison College tuition. Next slide. Another big bucket that we do in addition to scholarships is emergency grants. So we don't want people to be, you know, dropping out or just under duress when things happen in life, right? So there are 5 major buckets that we support. Emergency grants for housing, that's rent or mortgage assistance. Utilities, we help people if buying and need help with a utility bill. Transportation, car breaks down, gas, things like that. Childcare and medical. And you can see by the percentages here that at least in the past year, housing was the #1 request for emergency grants. About half of the funds went for rent or for mortgage assistance. This past year, 220 students applied or inquired about receiving emergency assistance. Doing as much as we can, we're able to award 110 students $500 awards to help with those expenses. So that's another pot that we're vigorously working on growing and having some success with that. We're having some conversation right now too about increasing that amount from 500 to maybe 7. Right? Everything continues to go up. Okay. Other ways that the foundation supports the college. We often partner with college to apply for various grants. Sometimes that comes back to the 501c3 status that I mentioned, but other times we're just a partner in different grants. Some of you may have heard or participated in the Scholars of Promise program, which is in its 7th cohort this year. So that all is run through the foundation. We're the houser of those funds and the securer of those funds. We also work closely with the college on their capital campaigns. So the big thing happening this year is the child care center down at the Goodman South Campus. So some of you are probably aware, the plan is to take that firehouse next door and remodel that to take up to 80 children for our student parents. So that's a pretty big project, and that will go to the system board in just a few weeks for approval. Hopefully we get that underway. So obviously assisting with those kinds of things. And then there's programmatic funds that we have. So depending on what area you're studying, most of our programs have a fund with the foundation, and they will use that. Maybe one way to put it would be discretionary dollars, where we don't have the program budget to buy a piece of equipment, or we want to take students on a field trip, something, but we don't have the funds in our programmatic budget. Keep funds in the foundation that can help offset some of those things. So we house those as well. One of the things this past year that we're working on, so we're constantly, working with various donors and organizations on scholarships, emergency grants, capital, all that. This past year, we pivoted to some more specific needs because we know that there are many needs. So it's a little bit of a pivot in strategy for us. So this past March, we did an appeal, as we call it, which is direct outreach. This was a direct mail piece to all of our donors in our database and said, would you help Madison College students with food insecurity? And fortunately, many did step up very, very generously. That allowed us to transfer a pretty significant balance over to the food pantry that we have here in South Campus. We were able to put quite a bit of dollars in their fund. Also, the Big Dog Fish Food Insecurity Stops Here scholarship, we were able to put a good balance in that account, set them up for a little while. In June, we did a direct scholarship appeal thing, kind of putting front and center that we had 200 students that didn't get a scholarship last year. And can we close that gap? That did pretty well for us. July was a kind of a back to school. Hey, it's right around the corner. Students will be starting classes soon. We don't want to lose anybody to housing, utilities, any of those other factors that childcare that can come up during the year and cause people to take a pause and study. So that did well for us. And just last week, we're kind of excited about this. We actually put together a gift catalog that went out to our entire donor database. And to be frank, there's 1,000 items we could put in a gift catalog. We're not in a position to mail the old-fashioned JCPenney catalog, and some of you might not even remember ever getting a JCPenney catalog. I do. We can't afford to mail that, and we also don't want to overwhelm people with too many options. So I foresee this to be an ongoing thing, but we whittled it down to 7 or 8 different items. Like, for example, if you're a firefighter student, your $85 would help outfit a firefighting student with fireproof gloves and a hood that they need. If you're in the veterinary technician program, you could outfit a student with barn coveralls and rubber boots and safety glasses for their lab work in that fashion. What else do we have? For the trades programs, $145 could buy steel toe boots, work belt, safety glasses, those kinds of things. So that just dropped last week. We'll see how that does. I'm pretty optimistic about it. Maybe you guys can have me back in a few months and I'll tell you exactly how that did. So we're trying to do more specific appeals and asks around the needs that we have at the college. And that's just complementing the work that we're doing one-on-one with different foundations and individual donors. And that was awesome. That was a quick overview. So yeah, I'm happy to take any questions if I have time.
Yes, you do. You have about 9 minutes. So
Okay.
questions are open.
You want to go first, right?
All right, I'm going to go online. They can get her hand up and then we'll go Senator Wilkins. So Senator Chu.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I was just wondering because I saw you said emergency fund for school, but the first thing I want to ask is I applied last year and got 500. I was thinking I was gonna get more because my school fees was more than 500, so I was kind of disappointed. One, I want to know why. That's the reason why people get 500 instead of more than that. Question one. Number two is like the emergency back to school funds. What are these things? And then how can one benefit from that? And what else do I want to ask? I'm not asking for me, but
Yeah.
do you help people with like the full-time students that are, for example, international students? Like, do you help people with utilities and stuff like that? I just want to know because I'm asking for someone.
Yeah, no, those are all great questions. With regard to the $500 award, I mean, as I mentioned, the average has been $1,200. Some of our awards are smaller than that. Some are actually much larger, and it often depends on the specific donor that set up the fund and how much they want to, they're able to contribute and support students in. Like I mentioned, we're trying to get all students at least something. So it's a matter of which scholarship you were eligible for and how much funding was available in that pool. So, the back to school appeal, that was really kind of that will go into our emergency grant fund. As I mentioned, we're trying to build that up. So we have more funds available, but also be able to increase the amount that we're able to help people with. So those funds will go into that pool, basically. Did you have a third? Was there a third question? I can't remember what the third part was, if there was.
International students.
Oh,
I think, yeah, utilities, international students.
Sure.
Do you guys consider?
Yes, so utilities are part of the emergency grant process. So you apply for emergency grant through the financial aid office.
For international students?
If they're enrolled in Madison College and taking at least 6 credits, then they could apply as well. Yes.
Can I comment that part?
Yeah.
Because I know when I start my semester here, that was like in fall 2022, there was like some flowers everywhere to students to apply for the emergency funding.
Yeah.
That is like based off your credit. I believe it should between 10 to 12, you get $500. It was the same thing for spring 2023. And after that, they said they were just going to cancel the emergency funding. So today you talk about it, so I was also a little bit confused. It's just
Sure.
like the career
Yeah.
off, or we need like to go to a specific like services to ask for it.
That's a really good question and gives me a good chance to clarify. So for a couple of years during kind of the COVID period and slightly after, the emergency grants were funded by federal dollars that the college received. So once those ran out, which was about 2023-ish at some point, I believe, maybe late 2023, that's where the foundation stepped back in. So we've only been back into the emergency grant game a year, maybe a year and a half at most. So yeah, I can't speak to the 2020 to 2023 period because that was college managed funds.
Yeah.
I know that going forward, the foundation is supplying those. The financial aid office is still taking the applications and doing the approving, if you will, and then we allocate the funds.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
okay.
Awesome. Senator Wilkin?
You mentioned how there was like 40,000 in 73 and now there's like 23 million in the fund for the foundation.
Yeah.
Would you say that most of the donors are alumni or how do you go about finding your donors for the foundation?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Most of our donors are not. That is something we're having a lot of conversation about is how can we go deeper? We don't have an alumni association at Madison College. We have a retirees association. We don't have an alumni association. So we are talking about building one. Most of our donations come from private individuals that are interested in doing good in the community and supporting our students. Private individuals and then also private foundations that want to support our work as well. We do have some alumni, certainly that give us not the bulk of our proceeds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Senator Villarreal is next.
Okay. Mr. Woodhouse, I first want to thank you for your passion there, and appreciate everything that you do. First question would be, if we can, what can we do to help you obtain more funds for what it is that you do, and specifically the emergency fund?
Yeah. It's a really good question. You know what I'm looking for right now is good ideas about what will appeal to people. Okay, so I mentioned probably, and again, my time is brief with the foundation. So when we did the meals, help food insecurity, provide meals for students, that resonated extremely well. That's the most successful one. People still support scholarships and all that, emergency funding. I'm maybe speaking a little in advance of, since we haven't finalized this, but we're looking into 2025 and what are we going to do? So we're thinking about an early 2025 appeal, maybe around, this would be the emergency grant piece, maybe like help us provide heat during these winter months for students that need it. I would go right in the emergency grant bucket. We put that under utilities, obviously. So I could use help with ideas of like, what are some really good topics that, and you have to think about, a lot of the asks that we do are in many ways an emotional appeal, right? We're appealing to We have students who are hungry. We have students who may not be able to keep their utilities on this winter. Cars break down, things like that. So I would love some ideas about that because I want to plan out an entire calendar for 2025 that we can pursue. That's one way you could help pitch me some ideas. Another way is please encourage your fellow students to apply for scholarships. I think we're going to be able to award all the applicants this year. We've had things have transpired in months that are looking really good. But the other thing is we also have some scholarships that don't go awarded. Okay, and that's because we didn't have any applicants. Some scholarships are very specific to a certain criteria, right? They're specific to a certain program or a certain student profile. And it's a shame when we're not able to award those. So we could use more just applications and we'll find a way to get them funded. So if we could spread the word on that, that would be fantastic. Yeah.
VP Hashmi, then VP Solifu.
I have two questions. Thank you.
Yeah.
When we send our application, is there a committee reading it and then you guys send that to the donors? How's that?
Well, the donors actually aren't the ones that select, and that's part of how it all works. So yes, there is a committee that's made up of volunteer faculty and staff. So we receive the applications. The committee reviews those and scores those and try to award based on the highest need. And that's why you have some of those questions on there, like tell us about your studies and your goals and things like that. But then also there's a part to describe your financial need and what your situation is. And that helps us a lot to be able to determine where the greatest priority is. So we're always looking for more volunteers from. If you want to encourage faculty that are teaching your classes to be a scholarship reviewer, we could use more of those too.
And my second question is very briefly, you mentioned that during the presentation, how you guys are being paid if it's a separate entity and it's not through, you guys don't get paid by Madison College.
Correct. Yeah. So how do we? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the way most charities work is there are administrative fees on different things. So those fees go into a bucket that we call unrestricted assets, and we're able to use those for salaries, fringes, rent on our own building that we need to use. So yeah, and also management of endowment as well. So the way endowments work is we invest that money, fees are paid out. A portion of that goes to award scholarships from the endowment. There's also a very small management fee that we take because we're the one managing the investment. So that helps out with our operations too.
VP Solifu is our final question.
Yeah, it's kind of like a suggestions. I wish that we have like more scholarship available for international students because I know like I think it was last year I was looking for some and they directed me like to some outside a scholarship outside of Madison College. I wouldn't really find like something that was really like interesting or like specific for students. But when I look like in the application for like Madison Foundation scholarship, they don't have any for like especially international students. I know I'm part of biotech, so every time that I apply, I always get some of the biotech program.
Sure.
And always when I apply for modern, I never get more than like to another kind of scholarship than just the one specific to biotech. So I wish like you said they have some other like scholarship, nobody apply for it. Why you just don't want to use that money to like give like to students? I suppose if you have like money for like 1,000 students and just like 500 apply, instead of give them like 500, probably add a little bit more instead of like put that money back on your pocket. So I think like that would be like more helpful maybe and help more people to apply next year for the scholarship.
Okay.
So
No, that's good feedback. So we'll have some more conversation within our foundation about the international piece. You raise a good point about if nobody applied, we can't. It doesn't go back in a pocket per se. I mean, I don't take any offense. We don't get to keep that. It stays in the donors fund until we do find appropriate applicant. Unfortunately, we can't just take it. Oh, nobody applied for this one, so we'll take it and apply it over here because we have to follow donor intent. So if someone gave us money and said, I want this to go to architectural technology student because that was my career path and it did really well for me and I want to support that. And we don't find one. We can't by law just take it and give it to a biotech or a culinary or an art student. Like we have to stay true to what that individual or organization gave that money for.
And also one more thing, I also wish like the instructor can talk also more about it because there are sometimes a lot of new students that like they don't know they're qualified to apply for the scholarship because they're new students. So I think that is like the role of the instructor too. The first day they start classes, hey guys, we new, but you can still apply for the scholarship and have like until probably 500 or 1,000. It's not that much, but it is still helpful. So I think if we can collaborate with like faculty advisor, instructor, that also be a way to really promote like people to apply more for the scholarship because then know for sure you can get the money. So I don't think someone will say no for like this kind of money. I just sometimes they don't know. They're able to apply for that.
I 100% agree with you. That's something we're trying to battle every day. It's how do we better promote and get more people to apply, whether they're new coming in next year or they're here now. So, yep.
All right, recognize VP Hashmi.
I would like to make an motion to extend the time by 5 minutes.
Okay, motion has been made,
Second.
seconded by Senator Dirks. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go vote by unanimous approval. If anybody disagrees, please let it be known now. All right, motion passes. 5 minutes has been extended. I'll keep track of time. So we can continue. Senator Juve had a question online, and then I will recognize what we have to lend our voice to. So we'll get to that, and then we'll work to that. So Senator Juve.
My question is very important, and I think I've really faced this, and I want to know why. Because instead, like after you apply for a scholarship, it doesn't apply to your account until you enroll. And usually before you enroll, you're asked to put your bill at a certain amount, which is really frustrating. You're asking for help and they're telling you, okay, you cannot get the help until school begins. So, and then you cannot get to school because you're still struggling to pay your money. So can you guys at least give us the money before we enroll in classes? That way the money can apply towards, our tuition, not after we are already enrolled. Because it's like very challenging. For example, if you have a bill of $1,000 and then you have only 500, the other 500 you cannot get it to get in your class unless the classes are started. How can you do that? It's
Right.
like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That's a good question, and I'm not as well versed in the mechanics of the awarding, so let me look into that. I will say this, I think you make a very fair point. I was under the impression that you're notified, like, let's say for fall scholarships, I know we send out notifications in early August, so I was under the impression that most people should know what they're getting. I won't apply until you register, and that's because we can't, at this point, and maybe that's something we can talk about, put money on an account that doesn't actually have a tuition bill, if that makes sense. But I think it's something we can talk about.
Can I clarify her
Yeah,
question? I
yeah.
think she means the payment due date and the date of receiving the scholarship. There's a gap.
Oh, I see. That makes
Yeah,
much
that's
more
what I'm
sense.
saying.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
exactly what I'm
thank you.
saying. Hassan is making
see.
what I'm saying. I'm not saying I have to wait a long time to apply. I already
Okay.
apply and I'm waiting for the money when school open. And then
I see.
I have to get in the
Okay.
classes, I have to enroll. And then I'm not
Yes.
enrolled because I'm waiting on that money. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That student can lose
I totally get that.
chances of being enrolled. That student can lose
Yeah.
getting in school.
Okay, no, that's a great suggestion and point. So we need to look at what the payment due dates are. what our award dates are, make sure those are in appropriate alignment. Okay, that's very valuable. Thank you.
Can I add something about what she said?
Sure.
I don't know like how that worked for her, but for me, I always take my classes in advance. So before like the semester begins.
Right.
So when I apply for a scholarship, 1 month before the class starts, I already know that I get approved for my scholarship.
Yes.
And they're always like when I start the classes, like the same week or 1 week after, they already apply the scholarship to like my institutions.
Yeah.
So I think like it's just like if you wanna get it, just like apply for the scholarship anyway. I mean,
No, you
That-
couldn't wait. This is not something you can wait on because you need that money to get in your class. That's the problem. You understand?
yes, but if like yes, I get it. But
No, that's
see that
what I'm
point.
saying. That's why I'm asking them to put the money the time we are enrolling at the same time, not to wait until we are enrolled.
Yes, but
understand?
I got it. But listen, okay, if you apply for your money and you took 12 credit, they give you the money for 12 credit, and we're like, oh, I start classes and I want like 9 credit more. You still have some leftover money that they can use for someone else.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about if they see that the full-time students, we need that money because if you don't have that money, you're not getting in class. And a lot of people are struggling with that. You understand what I mean?
Maggie, we're out of time. Sorry, we gotta move out. Bicycle. Yeah.
So we, at this time, we have exhausted our additional 5 minutes. So it can be extended one more time. If
Yeah.
you choose to do so, we have a queue already set. But as before, we need to make a motion.
I actually submit the motion to extend the meeting
By how much?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, so motion's been made to extend by 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So motion made by Senator Avila, seconded by VP Salifu.
Thank you.
It is. We'll go vote by unanimous consent. Is there any dissent to this?
I like to send,
Okay. I guess it's open discussion. What? Floor is yours.
I would just like to know if we're pulling the time away from Mr. Woodward, if he has anything pressing, we're extending his time here.
I appreciate you asking. I'm okay if you want, if everyone else wants to extend, I can do that.
Okay, sounds good. So that question being answered, it is still on the table. So I guess we'll go back to vote by unanimous consent. Is there any opposition? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So motion passes. We will extend by 5 more minutes. We'll move into our queue. We have someone from the gallery, so we need someone to lend their voice to the gallery, please.
I lend my voice to T.
Oh, great, cool. Sorry. So I used to work in the financial aid office, and we've actually talked about this issue quite a lot. It's not easy to move that date at all because that has to go all the way up. And like, basically, there is longstanding reasoning behind why the disbursement dates start when they do. And that has to do with trying to not set students up for failure. Because if you watch other institutions where it starts sooner, especially like universities, like four-year universities, their dropout rates occur abruptly afterwards. Students will burn out because they will spend all their money on booze, stuff like that. So the school, to keep students here, kind of makes you wait for that aid because they don't want to see students drop off like after 2 weeks. So sorry, it sucks for everybody. I know I've cried about it, but that is what it is. Hopefully y'all can get into work study. That's my advice, is try to do that and try to get into work study sooner.
I'm just
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a thank you. That I know, yes, and I'm not fluent in what the disbursement dates are. I think what we can do is look at coordinating better with the financial aid office where they know, and I believe they do, but I'd have to look into this. They know that scholarship from the foundation is coming, which, so then your bill is not due just because that money hasn't come yet, if that makes sense. So working closer with them, that they know exactly what's coming to an individual student.
So they're like prerequisites. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I lend my voice to the gallery. Lena, your question?
Thank you. So obviously there's a really large sizable amount of parenting students, and all of them need childcare. So I was wondering
Yes.
if the emergency fund had anything available to like emergency childcare, or there's any scholarships specific for parenting students.
I don't know that we have any scholarships available to, like, that are specific to parenting students. I know that 42% of our population are parents. So emergency grants, yes, you can apply for emergency childcare through the emergency grant process.
All right, I have Senator Dirks. Did you leave already? He did, I didn't pay attention. So then we will defer to our next, VP Jackson Winters, the question's yours.
Hi, I just want to say thank you. I guess my question is, freshman at Mass College, so I recently graduated, and I was just wondering, do you guys people that are like transitioning to college? I remember when I was applying to this scholarship that they just said I didn't get it. And honestly, I believe I was very cool. I had a good GPA. I had good letter of recommendations. I hit all the requirements, and I just didn't get anything. And it was very discouraging, like coming to Madison College because I didn't get that financial help that I needed from you guys.
Okay. You cut out a little bit, so I think I got the most of your question. Is there scholarships available for incoming students? Was that one? That was one part, right?
Yeah.
There are. Yes, there are. And many scholarships. Some are for new students, some are open to either new or continuing students. Quite a few fall into that bucket. So that was one. I think you had another part of your question though.
Yeah, so I was saying, I'm a recent graduate of La Follette High School, and they told us to apply to the foundation like scholarship as a like freshman going into Madison College, and I felt I met all the requirements of what they needed. I'm very active in school. Had a good letter of recommendation from my teachers, and I received nothing from Madison College. So it was really discouraging coming into Madison College and kind of just having no financial help there.
Yeah. No, I understand, and I'm not sure what, yeah, I understand, and that would be a little bit, if demoralizing is the right word. So I don't know why you didn't receive one. I did mention that there were a couple hundred students that we weren't able to support this past year. We're trying to do better on that. Feel free to send me an email. I'd be happy to look into your particular scholarship application from this year and see what we can find out.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately, I don't have, I couldn't speak to specifics beyond that right now.
And even now, like, I'm just like very discouraged to like just go for like to reapply again because I'm like, I don't know, like I didn't have any luck my first time, and I don't know, it's just I don't know. So, but thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that is time. Thank you so much, Brian, for being here. We'll reach out to you in the future to learn more about it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, and like I said, I know I'm a little bit behind on it. I will get you the contact emails of all our guest speakers, so you have the ability to reach out to them if you do have further questions that you could not ask today. So obviously, yes, you're able to stay. If you have to go, please go ahead. And so now we will move into the top floor is yours, so leave.
I think now our next event is team building activity.
Yep.
Oh, I don't have any for tonight.
Okay.
I just want I just want to remind you guys to show up if you are available Saturday the 26th from 9:30 to 10:30 for the spectacular event. And you can use these 2 hours as office hour. So please show up. We need help. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Move to disclosures or recusals. Would any member like to disclose any partnerships, affiliations, associations, ownership, etc., regarding any of the business items up for discussion? No. Then we move to our reports of office advisors and standing committees. First, Executive Council President report. So, report from Executive Council is for next week's town hall, we won't get the t-shirts in time. So, but we will still buy them to save them for our next town hall activity in the future. And same for the flowers. Second thing is, second thing is just a brief report on SAC petition. So we are going to put the SAC file on Workpack Connect. Then going to ask people to sign up with their name and email address. We want to get as many signatures from students as possible, but we are also welcome faculty signatures. And that's the end of my report. Questions?
So the teachers are gonna be delayed for weeks, 2 weeks?
What do you mean?
T-shirts.
I'll talk about that in my report.
Who is it?
You're all good. Nope, you're all good. I'll talk about that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you said we need signatures on what?
SAC petition.
Student Achievement Center.
Oh, okay, got it.
And we'll talk about that.
Okay.
As well.
Next, move to Administration and Finance Committee. So on Monday, we didn't have any club funding events to discuss. And so from the SAP meeting, we passed bus buying program. So like currently, we have two bus pass options. It's the $24 one and the $50 one. So they made and we passed a decision that after starting in January 2025, so next year, there will be only one option. It will be the 35 universal for all students. But that will include parking fee. And that's the end of my report. Any questions? No. Move to Rules and Legislative Affairs Committee, VP Hashmi.
No report. I will be working to invite Dr. Donald. I don't know what their last name is though. Dantzler, the president for the committee head for the president search. That's it.
Next, we move to Team Development Committee, VP Salif.
No report.
Next, we move to Public Relations Committee, VP Jackson Winters and Advisor Cardio Credo.
Sure. So, Nevaeh, you can go first.
Yeah, so we didn't have a meeting this week. Something came up that I'm going to talk about later in the next meeting. But I just sent out an email saying to people that we should focus a lot on town hall and just the advertisement. So I send the posters of what should be printed out, and Cole's already on it. We were waiting for it to be printed out, and it should be ready by Friday. So just putting the advertisement out. I know Cole put some posters up around like the school boards. Just posting on social media about it. And today I posted on the social media just a reminder. Trying to think of anything else. So Cole, you can step in.
Okay. So yeah, real quick with it, we have our official banner up on those projectors downstairs that are advertising the town hall events. It also has a recruitment campaign on it to try and get folks interested in checking out Wolfpack Connect. We do have 8.5 by 11 posters hung throughout the building. We have quarter sheets that we will hand out next week. And then VP Jackson Winters has created a QR code flyer that we will have at our tables during the town hall for individuals to submit comments, questions, or concerns if they're not able to sit and talk with us, but we still give them that avenue to do so. And then today we sent out another follow-up email to all 13,000 individuals about the town halls for next week. And I think that's everything. Oh, and please fill out Nevaeh's form / Google so that they can create the poster. I think that's it, right? Thumbs up. All right, I'm gonna go Senator Vila.
I just wanna give prompts. You represent Madison Technical College on the rally. I read that on the Clarion. Shout out to you. Thank you for representing.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I was looking for questions online.
Advisor.
So now we move to advisor reports.
Sounds good. Yep. So tomorrow you all will be getting the completed town hall questionnaire for things to be ready to ask for next week. You'll also get your Outlook invites because again, all of this has been posted online. Wolfpack Connect, so you can physically see the date and time. With it, yes, t-shirts. T-shirts are in the process. It has taken us some time. We ended up having to purchase 60 t-shirts, but it went from $560 to $450. So we saved $110 through some negotiating too, so we got some additional money off because they also screwed up one of our quotes. That was positive. Those are coming soon, so we will have t-shirts for additional events, including next semester's town hall event. So these things will be available to be given away, as also utilized during any type of team development activity we do. Want to give a quick update for shared governance. I contacted individuals, so you do have an email from me. If you are, were selected to serve on one of the councils for shared governance. We have the 5 councils besides College Assembly. College Assembly has selected all of their representatives. The shared councils will identify everything else here in the mid-November timeframe. Final call for WSG. If you want to attend WSG on November 8th, it is a Friday. We're leaving earlier in the morning, I'd say between 7:30 and 8 a.m. We're getting back around 5 p.m. No cost to you. We are driving out to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin for that meeting. I need to know by tomorrow if you want to attend. Send me an email. My last thing is for reimbursement purposes. If you attended the first WSG meeting and you are looking for reimbursement, you need to be in contact with me, as I've said before, as I'm trying to get those done.
Question?
Yeah.
Could you repeat your very first point? You said we send out email about the town hall or what?
Yep, so we sent out an email to everybody within Madison College, essentially, all students, about our town hall event. So it's letting them know the town hall is happening next week, and it has a link to every single day of the events that we have, including if it's virtual or in person, it will be there that day.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Nevaeh's meet the senator email.
That was also, so that was under, yes, so under the PR committee. Nevaeh did send that out to everybody to fill out, and they're asking that you all do fill it out so that we within the PR committee can get that created, because we will post that virtually across the building as well. Question? Other questions?
We have a question from Nevaeh.
All right, VP Jackson Winters.
Hi, so yeah, just filling out that form, and also of town hall. I will be like coming around like on the days that I'm probably not being there to take some photos. So if you're not comfortable with photos, please like email me or tell me. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. But and also if you can wear your student senate jackets just so we can like represent student senate. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
So I don't just.
Yep.
It's okay. Like I have an Instagram or a TikTok account and I can record myself. That's doable. That's
fine.
That's fine.
Yep. My best way is to say, as long as you don't do anything disparaging.
Yes.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Awesome. I think that's it for questions, so we can move on.
Move on to unfinished business, student achievement center petition review. AP Town and advisor Khalil Krito.
Do you just want me to do it?
I can go over the information we discussed yesterday.
Okay, and then I have a visual, so go ahead.
So yesterday in Executive Council, we went over the SAC. So the update is that we are going, now currently our stage is we are going to move to make the petition, put it online. But we want, and now we want to collect the user's name, Madison College email address, and the whole petition will be posted Wolfpack Connect. We want to make sure that we want students to sign it, and we also welcome staff to put their signature on. Like we want to create the buttons like I mentioned before in the file, so that we can keep track like when they are like approved, they support this file, they click the button, and we can by that we can keep a record on like how many people like support the petition. It will be like the end of like the blank area of the file, right? And then last thing from the executive council is we want to include ideas from last year meeting about the SAC. One is from President Riddle about to improve transparency and student participation in the SAC budget process. Specifically, it's two pieces of information. We want the student to have more participation in why are the money is removed from SAC budget, and where does the money go? Like how are they removed from the general fund? Yes, and the second thing is from Senator Crowder's suggestion on placing the presentation Dr. Kasper gave at the last SAB meeting on Wolfpack Connect, so students can directly see changes to SAB budget. And yeah, that's.
So the highlighted portion here is the information that was added based upon the conversation had here in GA, also from Senator Crowder. And we wanted to highlight it to make sure that, again, this is something that we all are in agreement for and state that this is what we are looking for in terms of the transparency. I'll give everybody a minute to read it. I don't want to read to you because sometimes that can be distracting. So please take a minute to review, and we will come back in 1 minute, and I will track on my timer because I'm going to get some water. All right. So this is part of our new business. So this is obviously up for discussion as well. What are our thoughts? And I'm keeping track of time, so don't worry about it. All good? Cool. Let's go. Questions, comments, concerns?
Question.
All right, Senator Villarreal.
Question as far as like, the last petition that got passed and that, President Kai was, was speaking about was the most successful one. And do we, if Advisor Cole or President, Kai would, know this, do we have, the information on where and how it was, collected, the petition?
I do not. That was for the referendum. So I will defer to anybody who was here last year. Do we have insight about that? You're right. President Brito would have the most. I don't know anything about the student activity fee referendum.
Juf?
Yeah, anybody online?
I don't know how specific are you talking, but I do remember they did tabling outside. They didn't take physical signatures. It was just like QR code thing. But that's the thing that I wanted to add for the SSC, if we could do tabling. That's a feedback.
Oh, yeah. I also want to add, like, yeah, I did a tabling for that last year.
Yeah.
And we just like do like, okay, Student Life send like some picture of all of the students and some flowers when they explain why they want to add this fee and what is the improvement. And it was like to do like more activity for students on the campus. So all of the clubs share the flowers And we do also like the taping and explain to each student why they need to vote yes for that referendum. And then they also send them an email, and the day of the vote, they have like a whole week to vote for it. So Monday, they send them some email to say, hey, you have to vote for the referendum. And I think the link was available until like Friday to the same week. So you have like a bunch of time to vote for it. But we make the tabling for about 1 month before. Yeah, so all of the students were aware about like why we do the referendum, and they have like a nice picture of student of like student life. They see like yes, vote for the referendum. We're taking pictures everywhere. So everybody in the campus were promoting like the referendum. I think it's why it passed because the whole month, all the clubs, everywhere, everybody was promoting that and students know more and why we want that to be like this to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the level of success comes from. They were able to give a tangible outcome of where did this fee go to? How does this fee go to benefit the students overall?
Mm.
It's probably something that we should follow them
Yeah.
out.
Senator Wilkin.
If you want my honest opinion, I think it is a whole lot of words that mean a whole lot of nothing. Like, it's not like we were taking a stance to actually do anything. It says we support the efforts to be included in updates from administration, but nothing in the yellow really gives an example of why we need to be included. Like, it says that we have a deficit, which is true, but what does us getting the budget change about the deficit? We won't change that. So like, in my mind, it sounds like, a lot of, we want to do good and stuff, but there's nothing happening with that. It's more like smoke and mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
So you think it doesn't have an impact?
Well, if we have an administrator that is coming to us with the budget, it's not like the budget is magically going to get improved. We're just seeing the budget. So like the budget is already being worked on by people that are paid to do that.
Mhm.
So I just don't necessarily see, first off, why it is adamant that we need to see that budget. I don't necessarily think that's important. I also don't think that it's not like they're going to come to us and be like, how do we change this so we're not in the red? Because they already have their own ideas of what they're going to do. They're not here for us to create money for them,
Mhm.
which I don't know. I just don't see it doing anything.
Thank you for sharing.
I think that we should move towards understanding where they get their mission statement from, what it is that's their vision forward. Because if it's to empower and make a better experience for the students, this obviously is something that's important to the students.
Right. I mean, I support the SAC. I just don't I think it's, it's out of our control. Like we are not the people that decide, who gets to put funds in what program. That like there are people that do that. So like I understand if we have a deficit and we would like to know why we have a deficit, but for that to expect them to come give us an update every time they spend some money is kind of, if I was in the opposite role, I would say like, why do I have to do that? They're beneath me.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes remaining. So to give some clearer context, this was mentioned last week, and I just want to reiterate it because I think it's good context to have as you're making these decisions. When this was brought to the SAB for their stamp of approval for this resolution, Dr. Tim Casper and Usman, I don't know how to say his name, so I apologize for that. If you know him, he's wonderful. He's one of our budget analysts. Gaming gave us a presentation, which I'm trying to get access to. I don't know how to get access to half these things to give you the insight into it because they did talk about the budgetary aspects to it. And so that is why this has come about, because in that meeting, there are some statements of where was the budget? How did the budget rise to the level that it was? Why is it lower now than it was before? And this highlights some of the money that was moved around into other areas. So talk about the moving around of about $14,000. It was stated by Dr. Casper, and I'm going to quote him, that this went into positions. This went from whatever their controlled funds were into funding basically full-time tutors. So we're not doing students. We're doing somebody who's going to be here 9 to 5 to do tutoring for a variety of classes. So when they talk about money moving, that is where that is saved from. So I just want to give that important context as to why this has come to this point.
What is this document? Like, is it supposed to be a resolution, or is it more just like for information for us?
This specifically?
Yeah,
So this is the body of the petition. So President Brito wanted this to come before y'all as the body of the petition that we would create, most likely through Wolfpack Connect in the way of a form. So how this would look in Wolfpack Connect, not to jump further ahead, is that we would have this listed out for everybody to be able to read. To sign it, all individuals would have to enter in as their first and last name. Preferred name, first name is totally fine, but we are collecting last name, their Madison College email, and then there is a box that they have to click that says, yes, I would like to have my name signed on in support of this petition XYZ, and then submit it. So this is just the body of that. And the highlighted part is the part that has been added that we wanted to clarify.
When is the deadline to post it?
There isn't a deadline because there is no timeline for this. But
Can we add visualization and pictures? Is it possible? Like some graphic stuff?
I don't know, it's a good question. I had to figure that out. Valid question. So I will be very, very upfront here. With this, we want to make sure that everybody is on board for it. So we talked last week that we like the idea of a petition, but we wanted additional information and context to be provided. Being that this was a part of the resolution, there really is nothing to vote on per se, but if there is dissent into something additional needs to be added, if you have a disagreement with something, that is what we want to have voiced and be heard if we need to make those changes. Otherwise, yes, we can move forward and put it into the form when is the question, right? We're all busy. The town hall is next week, and that is probably our biggest thing we're going to do this semester. So, VP Salifu?
Suggestions. What do you think after the town hall when it would be like less busier with flowers and put it on the campus? That works actually. Like you put the flowers, you put the information and say, hey, I want you to vote for that. And there is a link. Go to Wolfpack and come and read what it's about. So the link bring them there and they can vote directly.
There you go.
So instead of go to each club, talk about like each president to do the promotions, that can also be a way for students to be like, know why is it about and vote for it.
Okay.
And then that would be like extra work, of course, for the flowers and all this stuff. But I think that can also be a way because the flowers work so far. So
sure, I like it. You have something?
is there a certain number of signatures we're looking to get?
The number that President Brito has identified is 1,396 because that is technically 10% of the student population.
And then, so if we get that 10,096, do,
1,000.
Sorry.
I know what you mean.
if we get that, what is the goal that we were trying to get? Would you like just that they will come update us with budget reports? Because it seems like they've already done that.
So, yep, and I think I'm just about out of time. So yeah, to be quick with it, what this petition is essentially going to do, and this is outside looking in myself, understanding how this would operate, is it's to show that there is at least 10% of the student population that backs for a greater level of transparency and input into the budgetary process. That is it.
Okay.
This is not like the student activity fee referendum, which there was the strategic point of here's what this fee goes to, here is why you should vote for it. This is more of trying to create a document of collective voices to voice for exit. That is, I think that is the end goal of it based on what's been provided. Like I said, I think I'm at time with this. Questions? Are we good with this? Does anybody have any dissent of we should not move forward with this? And if so, I just want to quick hear why. Because obviously I'm not going to touch it till after we get through next week myself, but President Brito may move forward with it. Anything? I don't see anybody online. All right, seeing none, obviously provide President Brito with this and we'll kind of move forward from there. So thank you.
Okay.
Next.
We will move to the next event, which is our town hall presentation conversation.
Yep, so we do not have we do not have a presentation. Let me quick pull up the let me pull up our Q&A. So we did create I went and worked to create a document that was the collection of questions and amongst some other things, that was basically a script. And so what we want to provide you first is this script because it was requested of, hey, sometimes I don't know what to talk about with Senate, which hopefully you all have voted on so many things. You know what to talk about with Senate. I'm just going to be transparent with you. So questions for town hall. These are going to be our 8 questions for the town hall. This is taken from last year. I took out 2 and I have to change up some of the location of them. But of these 8 questions, they are not in this order. I'm changing the order. But what events do you want to see at the Truex campus? Because we will physically be there. For those folks that are doing virtual, it will be what you want to see at your campus. I will be clear in that delineation. Are there any challenges you have brought up that haven't been addressed? What would improve your Madison College experience? What is the best part of your Madison College experience? How can the Student Senate serve you better? What are your thoughts on sustainability within the college? What are your thoughts on the topic of alumni relations? And what would you change at Madison College? Those are 8 guiding questions. Are we good with that so far? VP Houshme and then Senator Wilkin.
I think it's an English problem. So these questions are going to be asked by the students who are going to be asked.
Those are the questions we're going to have available for them. So if there's like, I don't know what to ask you, you can pull from one of these and say, let's just talk about your experience at Madison College. How has it been? We'll talk about that in a moment. I see what you're trying to go with. I'm just saying. Senator Wilkin.
I just think that most students would have no idea about alumni relations or sustainability with the college.
Sure. And again, those questions are not ones we anticipate they're going to ask, but we have these available because the feedback that was provided to me by you all within the General Senate is, if a student comes up to me, I don't know what to say, which hopefully that changes after today. We do some research into it. So we have them just available in case they are to do X. So if someone does approach you and say, hey, I'm here because my brother went here and they really liked it, there's an avenue there to talk about, that's great. What else would you want to give back to somebody? Like if they impacted you here, how would you want to do X? That's a stretch. I totally get that, but that's where that question kind of comes in.
Mhm.
I literally just created these because we needed topics to talk about. And because of the lens of that 3-year plan, I figured it'd be better to have it than not, even if we don't get any traction on it. But I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Senator Jackson Winters, VP Jackson Winters.
Yeah, kind of what Cameron was saying. So for the QR code, I added more of like the questions that would make more sense for a student who isn't on like Student Senate or knows nothing about it. And I don't know if you can pull up the questions that I put on the QR code thing. Like
I cannot because I'd have to scan it.
Okay. But I put question 3, 1, and I think 5. All I'm just asking is there anything else that I could add? I'll probably send the form to everybody else after this. But just for people who want to like come by quick at the table and just scan the QR code. I didn't want to make it too long because I know if it's too long, people are just like not gonna respond or anything. So
I would add question 4.
4?
One of the things, yeah. 4.
Oh, I added that.
Okay. You're good. Sorry. Yeah, that was one thing we talked about is we want to make sure we're having some more positive based questions as we know that part of our town halls are. What are the issues or concerns that you have? So having that positive spin as well could be ideal. To kind of move on along, I then literally did this. I created you main questions and follow-up questions.
Hell yeah.
Nice, cool.
Events and activities, these will change obviously with it. What kind of events do you want to see happening at the Truex campus? Are there any activities or gatherings that would help make your time here more enjoyable? I don't care how you ask it, but that's just a question. A follow-up, if they're just like, man, I don't know anything going on. Nothing happens at this college. Well, let me tell you where you're wrong. Also, why do you think these events would be beneficial for students? So if they're just like, I don't know. I don't see any events going on. I don't know what PAC is or student life. Okay, well, what event would you want to see? Maybe they tell you the event. Write that down, by the way. Why do you think it's beneficial for students? Part of our responsibility within Student Senate is also ask questions. Why? Because if it's good for one person, we need to also understand, is it better for everybody? But if one person likes one specific type of anime or something, and it doesn't matter to anybody else, I want to support that student, but also, is it for the best of the general population? We have to have that in mind with this. I did this for every single question. You'll have it available to you as well, but
So I guess we're going to be asking these questions to the students who are gonna come.
yes, if they don't already happen organically, my hope is if a student were to approach you, you're gonna introduce yourself, as I have an introduction part up there, just in case you don't know how to introduce yourself. And you're gonna say, hi, my name's Hassan Hashmi, I'm the VP of Legislative Affairs. Welcome to our town hall, thanks for stopping by. One of the things that we want to do is just hear from you all students. So how is everything going for you?
Okay.
And then if it starts going down the path of there's a theme to it, I would say jump on that then. So if they're like, I'm going to Schuster Farm, I'm super excited for that. Awesome. Is there any other type of event that you'd like to see that be beneficial? That's going to happen. I'm going to be upfront with you. They're going to bring up those real life things and you just got to be able to adapt, even if you don't know what it is. Good. Senator Stacey Brunner and then Senator Avila.
For the main question, is there a way we can reword that so that way it could say at any one of our campuses and not just the Truax campus?
Yeah, so I said that in the very beginning, that individuals hosting the virtual sessions, they'll get a modified version of this that's going to be more broad so that it can reach anybody who's going to attend virtually that may attend one of our regional campuses, Commercial Ave, I mean Goodman South, but really you're in Madison, stuff like that. So it's going to be modified.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
Oh, you're good. I think I got time for one more question because I don't want to go over time on this, Senator.
It's just that at the last year, we didn't collect data of how everything went from our point of view.
So we do. We have all of the answers and information. Senator Crowder did collect that. How we're going to collect it here as well is I'm going to basically be taking physical photos of it. If we're going to write stuff down, and I'll explain how we're going to do that in a moment. And then I'll be collecting all of that. So we'll have that data along with the QR codes that VP Jackson Winters has created. We'll have all of that available. And that'll help hopefully shape our 3-year plan.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. So to quick explain where this is going to be. We're downstairs right outside the student life office. They have those big pillars. There's the one that's right in front of the Starbucks. I'm going to have both tables set out there for you. I'm going to have 2 gigantic whiteboards out there for you that are already going to have these questions on it or the themes of the questions, so you don't have to worry about that. I have it reserved through the duration of time that we have, folks. So Monday we have somebody at 11:30 and we have somebody at 2:30. I reserved it from 11 to 5. So that space is ours. We're going to decorate it. We're going to have everything there. And I'm going to try and meet you all at the beginning of your time to make sure that you're feeling good about it. Because again, all you have to do is talk to people. We have little QR quarter sheets that we're going to hand out to people. I'm going to walk around Truax and literally hand them to people. Say, come check it out and talk to you. You'll see it. We'll have photos of it as well. I'll send a photo to all of y'all on Monday to show you what it's going to look like. But realistically, the setup and takedown, nothing should change besides make it look nice. And then you're going to spend the hour with music behind you, maybe some candy, just talking to people. That is going to be the focal point of what we do.
So you say you're gonna be walking around the campus, bringing more people?
I'm going to tell everybody to come talk to y'all. When the 1-day event was hosted, that was the part of 50% of the Senate that wasn't in the room, was to go and get people to come to the room.
Okay.
So that has to be an active thing that we're doing. So if some of y'all want your office hours next week, outside of the 1 hour of doing this, come talk to me and hand out quarter sheets. You get your office hours. Good question. I promise it sounds like a lot. It's really not. It's just talking with folks and having open communication with them. We're going to collect anything and everything we have available. That way we can use this for our 3-year plan as we develop that next semester and present it to SAE. There's FA frequently asked questions at the bottom. They're not done though, because I don't know all the questions that students are going to ask. So I don't know how much further that's going to get. But if you get a bunch of them, send them to me so I can have them for next year. Questions for me at all about this?
Are you gonna print that for us or are we?
I'm going to email it to you and print it.
Okay, cool.
Covering all my bases on this one. Yes.
Any advice for us to get ready for it, or?
Just, well, I guess the first thing I'm going to tell you is, Go to the trifold brochures that we have. We have some in the Senate office. We have some at the front of the Student Life office. Look at that. Look through everything on the Wolfpack Connect website. Look through our SharePoint. We've done a lot so far this semester. We've also accomplished a lot in years past. One of the main questions you're going to get asked is, what do y'all do?
Yeah.
You got to be able to say what we do, even if it's just, we're the voice of the students. We meet once a week, talk about issues that pertain to students and try to make a difference for them. There you go. If you're somebody, and I'm not going to make fun of you, if you're like, oh, my social battery is going to get drained so fast, this is the one time I'm going to tell you, fake it till you make it. Because we need to be interacting with these students effectively. All right, I think that's everything I have for this. You all will get plenty of information from me tomorrow, and I'll make sure you are set up for success for next week.
Thank you.
No problem.
Move to president's search update.
Oh, yes. So as VP Hashmi mentioned, just wanted to quick state that developing an email to send out to Dr. Donald Dantzler, who is the chair of the Madison District, or the president of the Madison District Board, but also chair of the president search. As there has been questions as to why did we cancel the search? What updates do we have? Because it has been made known from a variety of students that they want to know what's going on. This has been something that's been over a year in the making, and this is where we're at. We don't have much beyond that because it's just a lot of speculation as to why it could have gone. I could give you 5 different conspiracy theories as to why we did it that way. In the end, we don't know, so we're trying to get Dr. Dantzler to be present. I was approached today by one of the, I think it's a risk manager is who they are, and they actually want to know, do you all have any feedback or questions that you're looking to have answered that I can provide to them? Because they're the individual that does the did you break any rules type of thing. And they reached out to Student Life to basically direct it to me because I meet with you all as students. So do you all have any questions or feedback? It's going to be recorded, so I'm just going to type them off there. Okay.
About who?
The president search.
Oh, okay. I thought we did that already the other week.
Well, now they actually want like legitimate things to bring back to them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go, VP Jackson Winters had their hand up first, and then I'm going to go Angel and then Hassan. Jackson Winters?
Yeah, so I was wondering, is there a way to like, I don't know, get to know the person that's going to be in charge? Like, I don't know. I don't like know the person or anything about it. Is there a way maybe for him to come to Student Senate and talk with us? I have no idea.
Who are we talking about for when you mean in charge?
Isn't it like the vice president who was already doing?
Dr. Tim Casper?
Yeah, wasn't he the vice president?
He's the executive vice president for student affairs. He was actually here at the beginning of the year. And we are going to try and re-invite him. I don't know how it's going to go, but we will try to have him one more time before he transitions. But then he will be invited next semester to attend our meeting as well, along with the new interim executive vice president for student affairs. That's a whole other thing.
Also, like, how did they decide this was the decision without like the student voices?
In terms of appointing Dr. Casper or canceling, restarting the search?
Just canceling the research and like appointing
Sure.
Dr. Casper.
Sure. Yeah, we can definitely have that question to be asked. Senator Avila?
So they actually believe that he has the capacity to do it, and that's why he's appointed right now. Why he has not been offered a position or he doesn't want, or how?
Oh, why did he be offered for the permanent role?
Yes.
Fair. So currently he can't be offered the permanent role because they need to have someone in the interim, and interim means temporary. I don't know about anything behind the scenes, if they had applied, if they had not applied before. That's a good question that we can ask as to why with that. So good. VP Hashmi?
I have a more general question. We could have gone with those 2 candidates and just selected one and the other one is terminated. Why didn't that happen? Why we need a 3rd person for us to vote to consider?
Yep, valid question. Other questions? And again, I'm going to send these all to the risk manager that handles all of this. So this will get up to Donald Dantzler. I'm going to go Senator Villarreal.
Well, are they going to be able to disclose the reasons why they didn't go with one of the candidates?
That's a good question. That's what we want to know, right?
Yes, we do.
how long Dr. Casper will stay?
That's a good question. Don't know. Interim is, there's never a definite timeline for interim. I've met interims that have been interims for 3 years.
And sorry, who's gonna be also taking Dr. Casper's position?
Yeah, so that's been announced. So with Dr. Casper moving up, Dr. Valentina Ajero will be the new Executive Vice President for Student Affairs. And then taking Dr. Ajero's role of the Dean for the regional campuses will be Mark Thomas, who was actually here 2 weeks ago. He will be in charge of the regional campuses. Again, apparently that was under his supervision before.
Dr. Valentina is the manager at the South Campus, right?
They are the dean of the regional campuses, all of them. But yes, they primarily work out of the Goodman South. Any other questions? Anything online? I will provide these all to risk manager. If you have questions you want answered, email the search committee. That is the best place to start. And then hopefully in the meantime, we are able to reach Dr. Dantzler to come to Senate to give us some more broad discussion. What I will tell you, and this is just to give you the full honest truth, there are things they're not allowed to talk about. That's why they literally have to sign non-disclosure agreements. So I want to be upfront with you all about that, not to give them a reason, but NDAs are legally binding and you can get in a lot of trouble when you violate an NDA.
You said initially risk management reached out to you.
A risk manager, I believe, is the person that's typically in charge of making sure that everybody's within compliance policy. I may have the position wrong. I thought that's what the position
Like
said.
attorney of the college?
No, they're more of like, are we in compliance?
Okay.
I think I might be wrong on the position. I just know the individual contact and wanted to hear from us. Cool. All right. If you have any other questions, like I said, email the search. Otherwise, you can also email me and I could try and include them in my emails to them. All right. The appeal is for naught, so we can move along.
Okay. So non-business.
Before we go to that section, we have a guest here, Lena, friend of mine. You want to introduce it?
Friend of mine, huh?
My name is Alina DeMar. I'm a student here. I'm in the Social Sciences Transfer Program.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I really gotta talk now. Y'all know it's too much. WSG check-in. This is just my reminder that please, if you are wanting to, please consider attending WSG. You heard from everybody previously. It is a good time. It's also nice to learn about the inner workings of the Wisconsin Technical College system, which is our governing body. If you think UW system for all the four-year schools, WTCS is the system for us. We are looking for a governor or a voting representative for this next meeting. As of right now, we don't have one. The individual that is attending with me, well, it's Annette, is the administration finance officer. So we are looking for one additional person to attend. It is on that one Friday, and that will be the last in-person meeting for this semester. And then future meeting plans, just want to give you all this as an update. After this week, we have 4 meetings remaining. Mark your calendars now. November 7th, Dr. Daniels will be coming to Senate. So that is where we are going to try and be on 10 when it comes to being ready to listen and talk with him. Very unique situation. We are not going to give him a time frame for discussion because it's the president. You don't often get the president to show up to this. You let him talk and we'll be able to ask questions. After that, the 14th, we will have a meeting, and the 21st, we will have a meeting. Our final meeting will be December 5th. I was going to say 6th, but I believe it's December 5th. And as we get closer to that, there has been discussion of do we want to have a potluck at that meeting, as we probably won't have much to discuss, but want to have that one-time final together. Those are our future meeting plans and the WSG check-in. Are there any questions for me about either topic?
Does Dr. Casper plan to come before the semester's end?
Yep, so I've asked his executive assistant if there is a time frame that he can attend. I have not heard back. I did send a follow-up email today to ask about that, so I'm hoping. One other person who may attend is Zong Her. I believe we talked about having them attend prior, but they have college success and satisfaction data from this past year that they'd like to discuss with us because it does pertain to student concerns, student voices. We just got to find a time because we're obviously getting crunched on time for all of this. There are no questions. I yield to VP Tao to do what he's got to do next.
So we are close to adjournment. Is there a motion and second to adjourn?
The motion.
So motion made by VP Salifu, second by, which one do you want to?
Second by
Senator Avila, you get the second. There you go.
Appreciate it. Second.
Okay, any objection to the recording? Unanimous vote in favor of adjournment?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Meeting adjourned at 6:23.
Good job, you all.
I don't remember when we
There
done
you go.
that early, actually. We done before the time. Good job, guys.
Send them to me.
It's up to you. You can't take anything.
I don't know what to do with that.
We're gonna throw it everywhere.
All of them.
Oh,
And then
this is so
I will do
important.
it.
Did you like the meeting?
I love your
That's pretty funny.
I don't like the one.
Yeah,
But it's spicy.
yeah, with foundation.
Boring.
Not more than 6:30, so we finished before 6:30.
I know it's one, like, I don't remember.
I just feel very
Individual photos are not.
Yeah.
And work on the.
There you go.
My goal for tomorrow.
I don't like